All right, moving on to topic 4 of our unit 5 on functions. Today we're going to be talking about adding and subtracting functions and then simplifying anything that we've added and subtracting. So just like we talked about previously about how there were a couple different ways to write, for example, composition, right? Like we talked about f of g of x is the same as this, okay? There's a couple different ways to write add and subtract, and they both mean the same thing. So f of x plus g of x is the same as when you see them in the parentheses like that. And then like g of x minus h of x, same as when you see them in the parentheses g minus h of x. All right? So we're going to start kind of easier, right? So f of g of x means take f of x and add g of x. So f of x is our x plus 1, and then we are going to add to it x squared plus 5x plus 6. Now you'll notice that I put it in parentheses, but with adding, we don't need like these parentheses because, well, we don't need them, right? So we can just add straight across and then combine like terms. And then here's my answer here. Okay. Now, the reason I did this with parentheses is because when we subtract, things get tricky. Okay. I need to take f of x, which is my 1 plus x. I cannot believe I wrote this wrong right here. Was anybody going to tell me? Oof. 1 plus x in parentheses, and then subtract. This is why I put it in parentheses, because I need to make sure that I subtract each term by distributing that negative 1. So I have 1 plus x minus x squared minus 5x minus 6. Now you can go ahead and combine like terms. So negative x squared minus 4x minus 5. Okay, and that is f minus g of x. So I suggest to you that when you are doing these, adding and subtracting, especially subtracting, you put everything in parentheses. Okay, so what's going to happen now is that we are going to add and subtract with rational functions, and we've talked about that word rational. Rational means it can be written as a fraction. When adding or subtracting fractions, we must have a, say it with me now, common denominator. And we've practiced this back in one of our other units. So 3 and 5 have a common denominator of 15. So this one needs, right? Do you remember this? We wrote common denominator, then we wrote it up on top what it was. And this one needs this. And we would have this. And once they have a common denominator, I can add across the numerator and keep the denominator. All right, this is the same for our rational functions that have x's in the numerator and the denominator. Okay, so we are going to need that common denominator stuff. Okay, so f plus h of x means I'm going to take f of x and add to it h of x. Look, that's this one and this one in this case. Okay, so f of x is 2x plus 4 over 3, and h of x is x squared. And when we don't have a denominator, we put it over 1. And then we ask ourselves, what is our common denominator? And our common denominator, why did I just write 3? X minus 3 is x minus 3. Okay, a number times 1 is x minus 3. So here we are missing that, right? So our first one is okay, 2x plus 4 over x minus 3 plus, and now I'm going to distribute this, x cubed minus x, oopsies, minus 3x squared all over x minus 3. So now we can combine like terms. So I've got x cubed minus 3x squared plus 2x plus 4 all over our denominator x minus 3. Okay, you can't cross off things that are in the numerator and the denominator just willy-nilly. There is nothing here that we can cross off or cancel or all that kind of stuff. This is our answer. Okay, so what happens now when we subtract? I'll switch colors so that we don't mix these up. Now I'm going to do f and g. So I'm going to subtract. So f of x minus g of x. So I've got 2x plus 4 over x minus 3. And now I'm going to subtract. And we talked about that subtract thing, right? X minus 3 over x plus 1. And I put it in parentheses so I would remember to subtract and distribute that negative. Okay, I need to find my common denominator. My common denominator is going to be these things multiplied together. So this one is missing this chunk, and this one is missing this chunk. Okay, so look at more foiling. So x, let me just write this out the way it is here. So I've got x plus 1, 2x plus 4, all over my common denominator. And I'm just going to do the whole thing now. Minus x minus 3 times x minus 3. Okay. So what do I have here? 2x squared plus 4x plus 2x plus 4, okay, minus, I'm going to get x squared minus 6x plus 9 when I FOIL these. Okay. All over my common denominator, which I'm going to draw down here one more time here. So I'm not doing anything now, I'm just giving myself more room. Okay, and that's all over our x plus 1, x minus 3. Okay, now I'm going to distribute and subtract. Okay, if you don't distribute, you always forget. I always forget. Okay, so now I've got, we should all have equals. I'm so bad at that. 2x squared plus 4. Oops, I'm going to combine like terms while I'm at it. I've got plus 6x here plus 4 minus x squared plus 6x minus 9 over common denominator. Now I can combine like terms. So I've got this one and this one I can do. So x squared plus, I got this one and this one, and minus 5 all over x plus 1, x minus 3. Okay? One thing we, let's see, that took a ton of work, right? So they are different. Okay, and I realize we use different things, but subtracting and adding two different functions will give you two different things. Okay, so just being really careful. So tips would be remember that common denominator stuff, and also be very careful. I am sure I must have made a mistake somewhere along the line, and you guys will tell me about it, and then I'll probably have to redo the video.